The more blessed one is, the more prone to calamity. Black crystal, greetings to all. Did you know that those chosen by heaven often have to endure emotional trials because these challenges penetrate deep into their souls? The pain they experience is heart-wrenching, reaching the very core of their being. Only when they have suffered to the point of breaking can they truly awaken and understand everything. Those chosen by heaven often endure great hardship in the first half of their lives because they are too kind-hearted, facing numerous adversities. However, they never give up, overcoming one challenge after another, understanding that anything that hurts them is ultimately meant to help them grow and guide them through difficulties. Truly chosen individuals do not lead easy lives. Heaven chooses them to refine them, bestowing blessings but also trials. Like a journey of self-salvation, they must pass through countless obstacles before finally receiving what they deserve. More accurately, the chosen ones are those who come to endure trials. They must endure far more suffering than ordinary people. Their lives are filled with petty people, bad luck, and challenges. Love is fraught with obstacles, and familial relationships are cold and distant. Social relationships are mostly unfavorable. This is their fate. Heaven wants them to be lonely, with no one to rely on, having nothing in their hands, so they can awaken and strive to live their own lives. In reality, those truly chosen often achieve success late in life or attain accomplishments in their later years because the first half of their lives is a long series of trials. Only after enduring the suffering of the first half can they enjoy happiness in the second half. This is a destiny predetermined by heaven because they are the chosen ones. Those with great blessings often endure more suffering. Life cannot always be smooth sailing, nor can it always be mired in hardship. However, if you become accustomed to living in perpetual failure, you will fall into a state of suffering and drown in it. For example, when you meet a bad person, it is actually a warning that they are not suitable for you. A wise person will understand that they should distance themselves from such a person. But an unwise person will drown in the pain and feelings of betrayal. There is a saying that when heaven wants to test someone, it first opens up opportunities for them. This is the beginning of a refining process. Why can't many wealthy families maintain their wealth beyond 3 generations? Because the previous generation endured too much hardship, while the next generation does not feel it and thus does not appreciate what they have. If you are going through difficulties, it is a sign that you need to grow from these challenges. These trials may be to refine your will or strengthen your physical body. Small trials may be like this, but larger trials are what turn everything upside down. When you are at your best, when you find peace, something will inevitably happen to disturb your mind. This is the great trial. When you overcome these trials, you will reach a state where you are not overly joyful about material gains nor feel inferior in adversity. You will no longer be entangled in emotions, not expecting anything more. Simply accept that when there is a connection, people come together, and when the connection ends, they part. At that point, you will attain what you deserve. You will attract the right people and events because you have become a completely new version of yourself. Therefore, do not be too attached to suffering. Suffering is not worth clinging to. Do not let suffering shake your emotions. See it as an exam where you are the examiner. Those with great blessings often endure more emotional trials. Life is countless trials related to money, family, love, and friendship. But few can overcome these emotional trials. If you are currently going through an emotional trial, it shows that you are a person of great fortune. What is an emotional trial? It is when one day you meet someone you unconditionally trust and love. Even if they push your limits, you cannot let them go, cannot forget them. This drains a lot of your mental energy. The world is based on the balance of yin and yang. What happens may not be entirely bad. From another perspective, it could be a trial sent by heaven to refine you. Before an eagle teaches its young to fly, it must first endure the most difficult steps. Did you know? Before an eagle teaches its young to fly, it often throws them into a deep abyss. At that moment, you have 2 choices, either shatter into pieces or spread your wings and soar high into the sky. No one can help you through this trial because it is your own battle. You will eventually realize that for family and friends, even for yourself, you are not indulgent. But for a stranger, you become extremely tolerant, enduring almost to the point of indulgence. One day, when you realize it is all futile, you will understand that loving anyone is not as important as loving yourself first. Let yourself become a person full of love. Then, you will no longer place hopes on others but will actively become someone who brings love to everyone. Your mood will also be elevated to a new level. You will understand that friendship cannot fill one's heart, and in the process of interacting with people, the problems that arise will no longer bother you much. You will no longer be trapped in the beautiful illusions of love, nor will you be immersed in sweet words and grand promises from others. Ultimately, you will learn to accept and be tolerant. In fact, there is no such thing as biased love. Everything is just fleeting stories in life. Gaining something is not necessarily a blessing, and losing something is not necessarily a calamity. Life is like a journey filled with beautiful scenery and challenges. Emotions are the most complex yet beautiful part of this journey. Sometimes, we must go through ups and downs and suffering and emotions, as if passing through a calamity of love. When we persevere through these difficulties, we realize that those who overcome emotional trials will receive great blessings. Love is the harbor of the human soul, the warmest and most complex emotion in life. On the journey to find love, we often encounter many injuries and disappointments. Sometimes, we are deceived or betrayed, making us feel helpless and heartbroken. Sometimes, we fall into endless arguments and coldness, leaving us exhausted and drained. But when you dare to face and overcome these difficulties, you will receive great blessings. Before encountering good fortune, one must first overcome emotional trials. What does overcoming this trial mean? Those with blessings must endure emotional pain. Do you know what an emotional calamity is? It is when you clearly know that person cannot change. You have been disappointed to the extreme. At times, you want to let go completely and never contact them again. At other times, you cannot be decisive and want to give them another chance, lingering endlessly. This puts you in a state of continuous mental exhaustion. When the emotional calamity begins, your career and life may completely collapse. The feeling is like you cannot live without that person, but having them by your side also makes it impossible to live well. You cannot eat or sleep peacefully, your heart is always restless. It feels like something has been ripped out of your soul, leaving a lingering pain that cannot be severed. At that time, you will constantly remember the good things about them, then think of the pain they caused you, as if your mind is split in two. An emotional calamity is the hardest trial in life because it strikes the deepest part of the soul, causing heart-wrenching pain. But it is precisely because of this extreme pain that you can achieve profound understanding, awakening, and maturity, attaining supreme wisdom. You need to understand that without special karma, it is very difficult for people to achieve enlightenment. Therefore, without great blessings, you will not encounter this calamity. The emotional calamity is the ladder that takes you to a higher level in life's journey. Those who go through emotional calamities are people with great blessings. Encountering a calamity does not mean you have met a bad person, but because you are deluded, only pursuing love while forgetting the more important task of improving yourself. Encountering an emotional calamity is not your misfortune but an opportunity for you to grow and advance to a new level. It is not our misfortune but a blessing. Only those who have gone through emotional calamities can truly understand the truth of love. There was a woman. She married at the age of 15. By the age of 22, she was abandoned by her husband and divorced. At 25, she endured the pain of losing a child. Yet, she overcame adversity, becoming the first female banker in China and a famous figure in Shanghai. That woman was Zhang Yue, the ex-wife of the poet Xu Demo. She once said, "I must thank Xu Demo for betraying and leaving me." A bad marriage is the greatest school for a woman. At 15, Zhang Yue obeyed her parents and married Xu Demo, a well-matched partner. However, Xu Demo criticized her as rustic and uncouth. After marriage, Zhang Yoi bore children for Xu Thimo, but he unexpectedly left without a word to pursue his lover Lin Huiyan in England. Worried about her husband living alone in a foreign land, Zhang Yoi took the initiative to go to England to care for him, but in return, she only received coldness. After giving birth to 2 children for Xu Thimo, she was forced to divorce, becoming the first publicly divorced woman in modern China. After the divorce, her second child, due to poor health, fell seriously ill and passed away at the age of 3. The pain of losing a child plunged her into despair. She lost her husband, her child, and was alone in a foreign land. But in that situation of having nothing left to lose, she became strong and fearless. Despite enduring the pain of losing a child, Zhang Yoi remained steadfast in a foreign land. She taught herself foreign languages and began building her career. From there, her journey of overcoming adversity began. After returning to China, she enrolled at Soochow University and within 2 years became the vice president of the Shanghai Women's Commercial Bank. Simultaneously, she founded China's first fashion company. Zhang Yoi did everything she could. She used kindness to resolve injuries, strength to face the injustices of fate. In the end, heaven did not disappoint her, and she was duly rewarded. In her old age, she enjoyed happiness with her grandchildren and lived to the age of 88. Zhang Yoi did not have the artistic talent of Lin Huiyan. Nor did she have the charm of Liu Xiaoman, but she created a spectacular life with will and determination. She became a shining example for future generations of women, a symbol of resilience. With determination and strength, she carved out a clear truth. Life can only be perfected by oneself. Emotional calamities help people awaken. A monk once said that emotional calamities are blessings. Meeting is due to karma that needs to be repaid. Parting is because the debt has been paid. There is nothing in life that cannot be let go. The person who makes you go through an emotional calamity is the one who comes to help you grow in this life. Your wholehearted devotion to love does not guarantee a good result. True feelings do not guarantee happiness. Meeting or parting is the natural course of life. Everything is due to karma. Everything has been arranged. When you let go of a thought, you can be reborn. If there was no karma in a past life, you would not meet in this life. Karma brings me to see you among the crowded stream of people. When karma fades, I see you disappear into the crowd. If years pass and love remains, let your heart bloom. If the person has left, and love has dried up, keep your heart warm. The meetings and partings in life are merely intersections of fate. The monk wanted to convey that everyone who appears in our lives has a certain meaning. Every parting is because the karma between two people has been fulfilled. Emotional calamities are not suffering but blessings, debts from past lives that need to be repaid in this life. Therefore, we do not need to dwell too much on loss because losing is just to meet something better. Why are emotional calamities said to be gifts from heaven? I have a saying to give to everyone. Since ancient times, heroes have emerged from purgatory. Since ancient times, wealth and honor are like fleeting clouds in the mortal world. All strong people have endured extreme suffering, like silkworms breaking their cocoons to become butterflies, going through calamities to be reborn brilliantly. God wants people to awaken and realize, so every time people want to escape ignorance, they must face heavenly trials. In the human world, the greatest difficulty people must overcome is emotional calamities because it strikes the deepest part of the soul, touching the most primitive desires, causing extreme pain. However, because the desire is so intense, only by overcoming it can one achieve profound understanding and awakening, attaining the supreme wisdom of Bodhi. Among the 10 sufferings of life, only one can be overcome by oneself. Those who have gone through emotional calamities and risen above them have completed their self-salvation, being reborn and remaking their lives. For those who have endured the pain of emotional calamities, life grants them 3 great blessings. The first blessing is learning to accept. Emotional calamities help you train a stronger inner self, becoming calmer and more composed. You are forced to accept things you previously did not want to face or receive. This acceptance, even if forced, helps you understand that nothing in this world cannot be let go. From there, your heart gradually becomes peaceful. You understand that everything that happens is due to karma. The challenges life brings are things you must go through in this life. The second blessing is seeing through people's hearts. Emotional calamities help you recognize the true nature of a person, giving you the opportunity to understand human nature. From there, you begin to understand and read people's hearts, making your inner self calmer and wiser. Life is just a journey where people need to follow nature and live. Everything is the best arrangement of heaven. The third blessing is learning to love yourself. When you go through the pain of emotions, you begin to question yourself. Why am I sincere but still hurt? Why do I give my all but still get betrayed? This teaches you to protect yourself, becoming stronger. In this process of transformation, you will experience inner resistance, even confusion about your career in life. But then, you will realize that loving yourself is the most important thing. When you overcome these 3 stages, you will initially feel very miserable, even frustrated and anxious. But gradually, you will realize it is a special kind of blessing, helping you become stronger and a better version of yourself. Many people, after going through emotional calamities, become worse and fall. This is because they do not learn the necessary lessons from the calamity but only absorb the negative aspects, filling their minds with bad energy. They exaggerate their sacrifices and love, then push themselves into the victim role, unable to escape. In fact, much of the pain is a trial from heaven. As long as you persevere, your inner self will become incredibly strong, and there will be nothing you cannot do. There is a saying that if the heart does not die, the path will not be born. Those who overcome emotional calamities will later sail smoothly because they understand that everything in the world, once you try to control it, ultimately controls you. When you can let go of even the person you love the most, that is when the person who truly loves you will appear. Meeting someone is actually to repay a karmic debt. When that person leaves, it means the debt has been paid. Therefore, you do not need to fear losing anything because what can be lost was never truly yours. Do not be afraid of suffering because after enduring suffering, the karmic debt is over. When a person overcomes an emotional calamity, the biggest change is that they no longer see missing out as a regret but as a calamity avoided. Those who overcome emotional trials often become stronger and more mature. What helps people mature the fastest? The answer is definitely overcoming emotional calamities. This is an opportunity for most people to break free from their old selves, to be reborn and completely transformed. This is also the greatest and most painful calamity in life. If a person cannot overcome emotional calamities, life will continuously bring new people and new stories, forcing them to repeat the pain until they collapse, doubt life, and ultimately fall into despair. The pain you must endure is not targeted at you personally. But if you do not go through this suffering, you will not be able to see through the complexity and evil of human nature, nor overcome harsher trials ahead. This is the process of refining your mind, will, and awareness. Only after enduring extreme pain can you completely change and mature. Those who overcome emotional calamities will cherish true love more. After going through emotional trials, your inner self and energy will be elevated, helping you remain calm in the face of life's challenges. True love is a powerful energy that can help you see the true nature of the world, allowing you to develop yourself, both internally and externally, continuously growing and changing. When you become love and spread love, you will no longer fear anyone's departure, nor be overly joyful about anyone's arrival. You become your own source of happiness. You love yourself, love those around you, and love the world. Your heart seems to contain nothing, yet at the same time, it contains the entire world. You begin to use your heart to treat love, cherish those around you, giving them sincerity and genuine care, no longer being seduced by superficial temptations. Instead, you seek a true and lasting love, bringing long-term happiness and fulfillment. Those who overcome emotional trials will eventually find their true happiness. Emotional trials are not synonymous with true love. Emotional trials stem from chaotic desires and delusions, while true love comes from the pure and peaceful heart. When delusions return to the heart, emotional trials can transform into true love. Emotional trials do not necessarily have results because at that time, you are still just a mortal. You have emotions but do not yet understand what true love is. A person who has not met their true self cannot know what love is. Emotional trials are the beginning and end of karma, both cause and effect. The pain brought by emotional trials aims to destroy your old self so you can evolve. Unlike true love, emotional trials immerse you in illusions of love, like a long dream. When everything in the dream changes, delusions solidify, and desires overflow. True love is awakening, awareness, clarity about the true self. It stems from love for oneself, then spreads outward, without gain or loss, without a sense of lack, but full and confident. Love and emotions in life are just a big game of life. All emotions need to be experienced by oneself, overcoming challenges, and continuously moving forward. Life is like a journey of cultivation. On the path of cultivation, overcoming and breaking emotional trials have been mentioned by ancient sages in many wise scriptures. In the human world, no one can escape the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Whether it is family, friends, or lovers, all can become difficult obstacles. However, many people cannot break through these emotional trials. The following shares, if you truly apply them, will not only help you overcome emotional trials but also help you achieve a higher level of awareness. Breaking emotional trials is not simple. Is it forgetting someone or letting go of someone? Because if it is just that, you are still in a loop. You will still encounter the same problems because human nature is to constantly seek love, and the love they seek is often the same as before. Therefore, if you have not done what I just said, you will continue to be stuck in the spiral of reasoning and cannot overcome the emotional tribulation. There are only 2 words that can help break all love tribulations, which are great love. What we often call love is actually just petty love, the small emotions of ourselves. So what is great love? Great love is boundless compassion. Only when you upgrade your soul to the level of great love and compassion, will all love tribulations not be able to hurt you even a little bit. That is the state of boundless compassion, when you can generate love for all things, all beings with a large and tolerant heart. Many people in relationships often have the habit of expecting from the outside. They always expect the other person to meet certain needs of theirs. But those who always live with such expectations often suffer a lot because gain and loss are the natural state of life. Only when you raise your mind to the level of great love can you be free from all the suffering caused by expectations. If you do not understand what great love is, think about how you love your children or your pets. That is great love, compassion. But that is not enough. You will realize that the love you have for your children or pets is unconditional love. You love without expecting anything in return. When you give love, you feel satisfied only because you want the best for them. When you understand that you have everything within yourself, you will no longer need to look outside because you know how to satisfy yourself. The more you expect from outside, the more the world moves away from you. The more you try to desire something, the more it will control you, making you further and further away from your true self. This is the reason why the human heart becomes more and more impure, covered with a thick layer of dust from endless desires. Everything in life is constantly changing because impermanence is the truth of this world. So what do you still desire? Do the things you desire really belong to you? If you are lucky enough to achieve them, you will feel satisfied, but if not, you will feel unfair and hurt. The law of the universe is very fair, always aiming for balance. Therefore, the more you desire, the more unbalanced you or your partner will be. When you desire endlessly, you will always be in a state of dissatisfaction. Only great love and unconditional compassion can help you dispel all the suffering brought by emotions. Whether it is Buddhism with its philosophy of non-movement, or Taoism with its concept of non-action and activism, they all lead to the same principle. When external disturbances occur, Your mind is not shaken by external circumstances. All thoughts and emotions are under your control, not influenced by external circumstances. This is called the state of mind changing. In fact, this is what we often refer to under the concept of the feeling of letting go. People who cannot overcome love are those who do not have this feeling of letting go. Just one word from someone else makes them think too much. A status on social networks also makes them worried. Even when the other person is slow to reply to a message, it makes them think restlessly. This is the state that is completely opposite to the state of mind changing, when the mind is always turned around by external circumstances. People who lack the feeling of letting go are actually those who cannot control their thoughts and emotions. But why can't they control it? When you look at it from a broader perspective, the pain you experience today is actually just the present karmic retribution from the causes you sowed in the past. If you look at it from a smaller perspective, this pain comes from your own high expectations. Because the nature of life is inherently impermanent. But you try to set limits and definitions for yourself and for others. So suffering is inevitable. Once you start to have expectations and attachments, you create a story in your mind and then immerse yourself in it. In the end, you are bound by that story, but mistakenly think that the pain is caused by others. In fact, it is not someone else who makes you suffer, but you create the pain for yourself. To learn to feel relaxed, you first need to let go of all desires and expectations. Do what needs to be done with a spirit of independence in action. The result depends on fate. When you truly have no more expectations, you will realize that emotions are no longer yours, thoughts are no longer yours, everything becomes meaningless and will leave you. When you realize this, the pain will begin to disappear. Forgiving everything around you is also forgiving yourself, and then, the love life will naturally disappear. Love tribulation is the best way for a person to awaken. Before a person truly enters the great sublimation stage in life, they must definitely overcome love tribulation. Especially at this time, when the harmony in the battle and death cycle has arrived, people with great blessings are more likely to encounter love tribulation because this is one of the important drawings to enter the journey of enlightenment as well as the graduation exam of life. The feelings here are not only limited to love between men and women, but also include all kinds of human emotions.